spooky friends, and welcome to another episode of Storytime with the Scary-ish podcast.
Woo!
I'm Robin Grace.
Wow, you messed up your own name.
I just read the beginning of an email and it said Robin Graves, so that's what I had in my head.
Okay.
But I'm Robin Grace. This is Adam Diaz. We're
Hello.
here to read your homegrown horrors
Indeed
tonight.
we are. Super excited. Thank you so much to everyone who sent us the homegrown horrors for us to read on these Storytime episodes. Robin, what is a homegrown horror?
So homegrown horrors, I'm glad you did. I couldn't turn it back on you this time.
Shout out to the Snark, by the way, for resubscribing for the 11th
Thank
month.
you so
we
much.
appreciate you so much. Shout out to Academy Dog, who subscribed yesterday with their own money.
September is here.
September is here. Actually, I think, does it start on the 5th? I think it
No,
starts tomorrow.
It says September is here. Get 50% off tier 1 subs.
There you go. So for any folks out there who are thinking about subscribing or like $5 dues is a lot of dollar dues for the entire month of September, if you would like to subscribe to our Twitch channel, it's $2.50. I need about $2.50. So go to twitch.tv/scaryish-podcast to subscribe. Now, Robin, tell me about them homegrown horrors.
So homegrown horrors are the stories of paranormal, supernatural, spiritual, sleepwalking tales that you've experienced yourself, your family members, your friends have all experienced, and you've graciously shared them with us so that we can share them with the rest of our spooky friends.
Indeed. And like I mentioned, we have that Twitch channel. We record these live every Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 8:30 Central and 9:30 Eastern. And you can also go to youtube.com/scaryish if you're more of a YouTuber. That's totally fine. However you want to join us, we'd appreciate it. And if you have a story you'd like to submit to us, you can email storytime@scaryish.com or go to our website, scaryish.com, and click on Contact Us. Hit up all our social medias and message us if you'd like to. Those absolutely work as well. @ScarishPod is Twitter, @ScarishPodcast, Instagram, or Insta, as the kids call it. And Facebook.com/ScarishPodcast is Facebook. Go figure. So however you want to get your messages to us, we would be happy to read them. And if it's something where you don't want us to share it, let us know. We'd be happy to just engage you with some dialogue in case you're just looking to bend someone's ear because you feel like you're crazy. And we get those sometimes where someone's like, I just need to tell someone this, and we're totally okay with that. But if you want it to be shared, we'd love to share it. Just let us know that we're allowed to. So yeah. Fun stuff.
Nice.
Did you want to start out, or do you want me to start out?
Before I start reading the email, I just want to remind everyone that we do have new product over at our Teespring store. So if you go to scaryish.com, there's a whole shop section. The new stuff isn't on there, but if you click on certain things that'll take you to the Teespring store, you can check out the new stuff there. I don't know the URL off the top of my head. It's like teespring.com/stores/scaryish-store.
It's a bunch of different spots that you can find it.
So you can find it. It's on Facebook. It's on Instagram. There's links everywhere. But we have new product, and I really like it. Glitch was just saying earlier that they're absolutely adorable, and I'm so glad that people like them because I like them. I ordered a whole bunch of stuff for myself. So
it's very true.
Yeah, so hopefully you guys like them for the spooky season, and check them out.
Right on.
And I don't know. Do you want to read first? You want me to read first?
I can go first. That's fine. Yeah.
Cool.
So I'm going to go ahead and lead out with our first story of the show, and this subject is my Sloss Furnace story, which is cool because I covered the Sloss Furnace like 50, 60 episodes ago. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
We always love to hear from folks that have gone to the places or experienced the things that we cover, so I'm excited, and I'm going to jump right in. Starts out like this. Dear Robin and Adam. Hello, dear. I don't know how to do that. Okay.
I was going to say dear, but I was like, that sounds weird. I'll just say hello.
I've only been listening for a couple of weeks now, but I binge listen every time I get the chance. I love you two and your great rapport. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
You remind me of my husband and me. In parentheses, I hate you. LOL.
I think that's what I really enjoy with a lot of the people that listen to the podcast and hang out with us in our community, because everyone has an amazing sense of humor, and you guys are so funny. Today I stepped on a new leaf that has fallen on the ground, and I was just like so crispy.
It's a meme that graced our Facebook group that is a picture of Two-Face. What is it? Go ahead.
It's just so funny. It's just a meme on our Facebook group that someone edited. I don't know. It's hilarious.
It's basically Two-Face from The Dark Knight, except if both sides of his face were burnt. So it's like someone split the face down the middle, like mirrored the image, and then put it through a filter where it makes like the Snapchat filter, where it makes like your eyes really big and your mouth really small, so it's all derpy, and it just has the caption underneath it that says "Quispy," and every time she sees it, she laughs. It's like 5 times in a row every day. So
yeah, I cannot help it.
Anyways, we appreciate your support. I'm glad that you like us. We like you back. And the email goes on to say, anyway, Imagine my surprise when I got to the Sloss Furnace episode. I was squealing like a dolphin. Haha. I'd been thinking of sending in this story, in parentheses, I have others. But that episode clinched it. I had to send you a real, true, cross my heart, swear on my grave story about supernatural happenings at Sloss.
Cool.
A few years ago, we went to the Sloss Fright Furnace, which is a scary attraction held at the 100-plus-year-old historical Sloss Furnaces, which produced iron for many, many years. Back when we went, the actual haunted factory part was actually held inside the factory rather than outside like it is now. The story goes that back in those days, they didn't care about worker safety, which was true, and that many men died there, which is also true, and that many of those men still haunt the place. This part says, maybe. So it's confirming the other facts, but for that one, it's a maybe. The tour itself was a lot of fun. Creepy actors in costumes jumping out or chasing us with chainsaws, the standard stuff. Plus great mazes and decor, and of course the antique factory equipment still in place. During the tour, we got to a rather clear area where there really wasn't any decorations or actors or even any other tourists, just the factory equipment, and I felt such an overwhelming heaviness, as if just picking up my feet was the most difficult thing imaginable. The very air felt thick and heavy, as if gravity had just intensified. It sounds like they stepped into one of those pods from Dragon Ball Z, the capsule core pods that help you train under like 10 times or 100 times Earth's gravity. So,
nice.
Pretty solid stuff. Your power level's definitely going to go up by the end of this.
Oh my gosh.
I could barely breathe. It was so intense. I've never felt anything like it in my life. Luckily, this part was maybe only 50 feet long or so. My husband said he couldn't feel anything, and as we walked on a bit, the feeling passed, and we got to more of the decorated places where actors sneaking up or jumping out. When we got home, my husband's watch was broken.
Wow.
The crystal itself was just smashed, as if he had taken it off and smashed it with a hammer, yet he had no bruise or pain. The whole time through the tour, I was holding his hand, the side with the watch, because his other hand was maimed in an industrial accident, and he felt his grip on that side wasn't strong enough. So somehow, something had to smash his watch hard enough to crush the crystal without either of us feeling it.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. We were holding hands the entire time because I get scared. I never let go, not even once. I'm attaching a picture of the smashed watch so you can see how it's not just a surface scratch. The crystal broke all the way through. I have other stories that I'll send at another time, but just know you have a huge fam in Alabama. P.S. Team Fan on, and Ghost Adventures sucks.
Wow.
I agree to both of those things, obviously. I have the picture right here as well, and it is definitely a smashed watch.
Yeah.
Like, you would have noticed this happen.
Like shattered on that whole side. That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's a thick, I was going to say a thick candy coating. It's a thick glass face, so, like, it would have been a significant impact to crack it. So, yeah. That is super creepy.
Looks crispy.
Quispy? You're going to use that for literally everything that you can tonight. So thank you so much for sending that in. It's always super cool when people go to the places that we get to talk about. Because, like, Sloss Furnace is really far away from us. You know, we're in Las Vegas. There's only so many places that we can try and visit without it becoming, you know, rather expensive.
Yeah, monetarily, like, devastating.
So awesome. Thank you so much one last time.
Yeah, thank you so much. You know, when you were bringing up that whole Dragon Ball Z thing, all I could think of was Rock Lee in Naruto when he takes off all his weights and he's just ridiculously fast.
Oh, you mean that scene in Dragon Ball Z where Piccolo and Goku take off all their weighted training clothing to fight rabbits? Yeah.
Rock Lee's the best.
Basically, all manga are the exact same. It's just different characters and scenarios. So, good stuff. Right. Good debate.
All right. So, the next email here that I'm going to read is titled, Hey, y'all, kind of long. So strap in.
Right on.
I mean, I'm adding the strap in.
Let me put my seatbelt on my desk chair.
Okay. Yep.
Kerplunk. That's what seatbelts sound
so
like,
you'd
right?
put it there? You wouldn't do this?
I guess I would do that. Unless I was sitting, like, the middle of the back. Because that was weird. People that are listening are like, I have no idea what happened. Okay. I did, like, the waist seatbelt, not the over-the-shoulder seatbelt.
He did the airplane seatbelt. I did the car seatbelt.
You notice how she notices that, but she doesn't criticize the kerplunk noise that I made to simulate a seatbelt clicking. So it's weird how you get caught up on the wrong details. But yeah, I was wrong about that too.
All right. So this next email begins. Hello, Adam and Robin, a.k.a. Robin Grace.
Okay, so now I know where you got that from.
Yeah, I was just like, that was what was in my head. Okay. I know that's so old, but it is really my favorite. That's very sweet. I think that's one of my favorite nicknames too.
Robin Graves.
Yeah. especially around Halloween time. It's perfect.
This is Halloween.
So my name is Linda, and I've been listening to the podcast since sometime in the summer of 2018.
What up, Linda? That's my mom's name.
Okay.
It's a beautiful name.
I'm definitely one of the ghost listeners, but I do follow your Instagram. I love listening to you guys while I get housework done, score study, or plain old-fashioned can't sleep.
I'm like super excited that one of our ghost listeners decided to send us an email because there are so many of you out there.
Yeah, and we are so happy when we might not hear from you or see you interact on social media or anything like that, but when the listens come in, the downloads come in, the numbers. And we see how many of you guys actually listen. It's like, oh my God, they like us.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So thank you guys so much. I'm really bad at sleeping at night. It's like I'm a bad Hot Topic makeover away from becoming a vampire. Anyway, the story I would like to share today is actually my mom's. Get your single, manly tears ready, because this one kind of hits in the feels. I've included a couple phonetic spellings that I hope are helpful. They're always helpful. If you guys send things that you assume we won't be able to pronounce, we probably won't be able to pronounce it, and it would help us immensely if you put in phonetics in there, because it changes.
We try our best with pronunciations. That does not mean we're good with them.
Yeah.
So every little bit helps.
My abuelita, Feli, grew up in a small rural town at the base of a volcano in Morelos, Mexico. During the 1920s, she always seemed to have a special, almost spiritual connection to nature and everything that had life. She ended up settling in Cuernavaca with my abuelito Raimundo, and together they raised 9 children. Holy crap, that's a lot of kids.
That's a lot of kids.
That's a lot of kids. I can't imagine having 2 at the same time, let alone 9. 6.
This is like having 2 at the same time times 4 plus 1.
Yeah. 6 girls, 3 boys. That's a nice mix, though.
A little bit, yeah.
Imagine having 9 girls. Jeez, my mom
Imagine
had 3.
having 9 boys.
My mom had 3 girls, and we all drive her crazy.
That's hilarious.
By 2010, Feli begun to develop Alzheimer's, and her short-term memory was the first thing to start going. My mom told me the best thing we could do to help my abuelita was to ask her about her life/family history to keep her memory strong. Some of my favorite memories are of us sitting together in the living room of the house my grandfather and uncles built while she told us stories and held my hand. That's very, very sweet.
Yeah, it is. I just realized you didn't turn off the fan in the hallway before you came in here, did you?
Yeah, there's a bunch of clicking out.
It sounds like something scratching at our door right now, but
Demons!
it's not. It's just the stuff that's hanging on the door.
She always had the softest hands, and despite the fact that they were so small, nothing made me feel as safe and comforted as feeling her hand over mine.
Aww.
The hardest times were when she would ask where my abuelito was, and we would have to gently remind her that he had passed away. Imagine having to tell her that over and over and over again.
I mean, that's the reality when you're dealing with someone who's
That's so sad.
losing their memory.
She would get quiet and hold on to whoever was sitting with her. As the Alzheimer's progressed, she needed more and more around-the-clock attention. My family knew whatever time we had left with her was precious. My aunts and uncles all wanted her to live with them, so they had a formal family meeting to sort it out. In the end, they decided to give her a home base with one of my aunts and schedule days/weekends with the rest of her kids who lived in the area. My mom and another of her sisters lived in the U.S., but would talk to her every chance that they got. All they had to do was check the schedule on WhatsApp. My grandma was over the moon. She loved being taken out and getting to spend so much time with all her kids. She would say a phrase in Spanish that literally translated means, "I feel like a recently uncaged chicken." That
Aww.
is very
That's hilarious.
cute. A lot of languages are like that. Like in Vietnamese, there's a sentence that if you translate it, it's just like, you make me want to throw up blood.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to start saying that to people in English.
My mom and her siblings said it was funny to have the roles reversed and take care of a woman who had watched out and cared for so many others in her life. Having so much distance between them was really hard on my mom, especially because she couldn't visit as often as she liked due to her job and expenses that come with traveling. One night, my mom was laying in bed but couldn't get to sleep. This wasn't unusual for her, so she did what she always did and went to the living room to play Sudoku on her tablet so she wouldn't wake up my stepdad, who is the lightest sleeper on the planet. It was about 12:30 and she was sitting long ways with her legs up on the couch. Her eyes were on the screen in front of her when she noticed her vision was becoming blurred and hazy. Despite this, her body kept playing the game on her screen, almost like it was on autopilot. Her vision then started to shift, and she found that instead of holding her tablet in her hands, she was cradling her mom in her arms. Her head was resting gently on her chest as she ran her fingers through my abuelita's gray hair. My mom said she was holding my abuelita with the same tenderness and care you use when holding a baby. She could feel the weight of her in her arms and smell the shampoo that she had used for years. Everything then faded away, and she found herself sitting on the couch in darkness. She reached up to her eyes and realized she had tears streaming down her face. Her tablet had died, but her phone read 2:36. She tried to brush it off, got comfortable, and fell asleep in the living room. A few hours later, I don't like where this is going, she woke up to a call from her sister in Mexico. After a family gathering to celebrate Dia de los Reyes, or Three Kings Day, Belly had been helped to bed by my uncle. He tucked her in, kissed her on the forehead, and said goodnight. He woke up in the early hours of the morning and felt the need to go check on her. He opened the door to her room and whispered, "Felly, are you okay?" I have chills right now. He crossed the room and reached for her hand. It was cold. She had passed away in her sleep peacefully and without any pain. She also said it was a blessing to go like that and hoped she would be lucky enough to receive that gift. Felly spent her last day with us surrounded by her family, laughing and enjoying their company. My family still feels her presence now and then. She visits in dreams, sometimes just to say hi and sometimes to soothe in times of trouble. Sometimes I'll feel a pressure on the back of my shoulder like a small hand being pressed into it. Despite being a skeptical person, I like to think it's her, even if it's just to keep her memory alive. Although she isn't physically here anymore, we all feel her in our own way, still looking out for us. Thank you for taking the time to read this story, and thank you for all the time and work you put into sharing something so wonderful with all of us. Keep on creeping on. Tons of love, Linda. P.S. Thank you so much, Senora Linda, for all that you do for the podcast. I'm so glad we have you to help make Storytime happen. Muchas gracias. And a bunch of Spanish that I can't read. I'm going to assume it's something incredibly nice.
Hopefully it was nice, not like JK LOL fudge you. No, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for and for sharing something that's so personal. And I love those stories where you still feel the presence of your loved ones because they are always there with you and they're guardian angels watching over you. That's what my mom and dad always say. Whenever my mom's being mean to my dad, his parents do something mean to her.
Wow. It's not just a guardian angel that's like a revenge angel. But
yeah.
Yeah, we get a lot of stories, I think, like this, where you have something happen to you at the time or around the time that someone very near and dear to your heart passes away. And they come from all over the world. And it's really weird for me to say that because it's still kind of unrealistic to me that so many of you folks do emails from everywhere. But it's kind of one of those things that unites everyone together a little bit when you talk about something that's so sad and traumatic. And you have this unbelievable experience that you can't explain, regardless of like your race or your religion or your location. And it's so meaningful, even if it is so heartbreaking. So that's not an easy thing to share, but we sincerely do appreciate you for sharing it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have my own story. I know I've shared it before on the podcast, so I won't bore everyone with it again. But, it's something that I always remember, and I'll never forget. So it's a wonderful thing. So thank you. All right, I'm going to move on to my second email of the show and final email for myself. And this one subject is feel free to share on the podcast, in parentheses, multiple stories.
Nice.
Starts out like this. Hey guys, it's Zia. Hello.
Hello.
Wow, that took a while. And there's a smiley face. Here's mine back. I promise more stories.
What noise was
so
that?
Let's jump right in. That's the sound I make whenever I smile.
Really?
Have you never noticed that?
Whenever I take photos of you, you never go, hey.
It's just what happens. All right, story number 1, please take me, with an exclamation point at the end, which sounds kind of hot. This story takes place when I was a senior in high school.
Okay.
I was taking an English class, and the teacher was really cool. She let us vote on what we wanted to read and learn about. We got to choose between mythology or aliens. I personally love both subjects. The topic that got picked was aliens. We read a book about someone being abducted and read articles on Roswell and other cool subjects. Everything was going great. One day after school, I got in an argument with my mom before work. I can't even remember what it was about, but I just remember I was annoyed and glad I was going to work. I was a waitress at a Chinese restaurant. I worked until 10. That night when I got off, it was super foggy and dark, and I was still annoyed with my mom, so I decided to take the long way home.
Oh my gosh.
Which is never the smart thing to do when there's a bunch of fog outside at night.
At night, that's late too. If you're getting off work at 10, I mean, take the safe route.
Yes.
Take the short, super safe route, or call someone to come get you.
Yeah, taking the long way home when it's really foggy is just a recipe for disaster. And there's more to this story, obviously. Taking the long way home meant I had to go through a couple of small hills. As I was driving home, I was on the top of the first hill when I saw a line of lights through the thick fog just hovering on top of the next hill. I could not believe my eyes. It was a UFO. I was so excited I sped up to get closer. I kept saying, please don't leave, please don't leave. Oh, God. I'm at the bottom of the hill and my heart is racing. I am so excited. Me of all people was going to be able that they saw a UFO.
Wow.
I kept thinking to myself, maybe they will take me with them. How awesome would that be? I got to the top of the hill and I can see the hovering lights and they were just a half a block away. As I got closer, I could see through the fog. It was just a semi with a light bar on top.
That is
I knew it, man.
Hilarious.
I was so disappointed and a little embarrassed. That's hilarious.
So freaking funny.
It's probably a good thing you didn't shout out your window to the semi-driver, please take me, though. Because that would have just been weird. And the semi-driver would have been like, the crazy people come out when it's foggy outside. All right, story number 2, called Empty Movie Theater. My husband and I live in Utah, a part where most of the population is Mormon. We went to the new Shaft movie when it first came out. I forgot that a new Shaft movie came out. The whole theater room was empty. It was just me and him. I'm not sure why, but every time I go to the movies, I always get a little bit of anxiety. This time, my anxiety was really high, and I kept feeling like there was someone behind us, even though there wasn't. So we're watching the movie, and it was pretty good. All of a sudden, I felt like I was being watched again. I happened to glance down, and I saw something. It looked like a dark shadow crouched down, just watching me.
That's disconcerting.
Before I could say anything, it disappeared. I didn't know what to think. Usually I make up excuses when I see things, but I wasn't even watching a scary movie. That's super creepy because it could be a shadow of something that's like supernatural, or it could be a creeper that's like watching you. Well, and that's just super creepy.
There was a story that was in one of the MFM minisodes that they had where there was a guy that would hide under the seats in the movie theater. And so he would like tickle legs. He would tickle like girls' legs, like stroke girls' legs while laying under the seats in a movie theater.
What a fucking creep.
Yeah, it's so creepy.
If he would have been under my seat, he would have been kicked in the face because I kind of move a lot when I'm sitting down.
Yeah.
So shout out to Akasuna no Kairi 1013 who just resubscribed
Thank
for the
you
10th
so much.
month in a row. We appreciate you. All right. Story number 3, Nightmare at Chuck E. Cheese, which I feel like describes...
That's a nightmare in itself,
I was
just
gonna say,
being at Chuck E. Cheese.
It just describes a visit to Chuck E. Cheese if you're not like, a child. So, a little bit of information before we start. I love listening to scary podcasts and true crime podcasts. Shocker, we just talked about
That's
MFM.
our favorites, too. Like, true crime. Well, I am listening to The Tripod now. They're pretty good.
My favorite is by far Adventure Zone.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's just because I'm a D&D nerd.
All right.
Around this time, I was binging Crime Junkies and you guys, so I was on very high alert. Okay, now we can start. November was my little brother's 5th birthday. He wanted his birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese. So we go there and we're having a terrible time. Kids are screaming and being hooligans, but they're having a blast. There was another birthday party going on as well, and those kids teamed up with my little brother and his friends and caused chaos together. In the other group of people, they had a kid who was older than the rest of the group. He was probably 15 or 16 and had Down syndrome.
Okay.
I'm sitting there watching the kids play and listening to a podcast because, well, I'm addicted. I decided I needed to go to the bathroom. The bathroom was down a sort of creepy hallway and the floor was tile. It seemed like every single step I took, my feet would stick because a kid spilled their soda there. It's so gross.
That sounds disgusting. That's like going to the movies, though. You walk and it's just like, you hear that.
Your feet like it's stuck to the ground at your seat.
You hear the sound of it pulling off the floor.
And your legs keep getting tickled. It's just weird.
Ew.
I go into the bathroom. It had about 7 or 8 bathroom stalls. I go to the one in the very back. I don't know why.
Bad choice.
But I have always gone to the furthest one from the door. So I'm in there. Okay, I have 3 bathroom stalls at work. The first one opens into the stall. The next 2 open out. But the third one's the handicap stall. So I always go to the second stall because it's a regular stall. The door opens out. So I don't have to like do that weird shuffle thing where you're like leaning away from the door so it can open because you're opening it towards yourself. Because they're not like long stalls. You know what I mean? Like you open the door and it barely clears the toilet seat. So if you have to open the door into the stall, I'm just saying if you're a bathroom designer, you're an asshole if you make a door that opens in. Okay, I'm going to get back to this. Sorry, that was my rant. I deal with this shit all the time at work. I walk in, the middle stall's taken because I'm not the only person that has this mindset. And I'm like, I'd rather shit in the sink than shit in one of these other stalls. So, okay.
To me, the ones at the end are always the haunted ones.
The ones at the end of the haunted
I thought
it was supposed to be the fourth one.
They're always like the darkest ones because they're furthest in the bathroom. Like they're the furthest ones away from you. Oh my gosh, but I have to tell you guys a story.
Oh God.
About our trip to California and my run-in with this. Oh, it was bad. Gross. Should I say it now or
well, I mean, yeah, you just brought it up.
Okay, so we just went to Disney recently and we made a stop at a new rest stop. We don't normally stop at this particular gas station, but I really had to go. Adam really had to go. And so we stopped. And this new place we stopped at had keypads to get into the bathroom.
Oh, yeah. I was so fucking annoyed.
Oh, my gosh. It was horrible. And the woman at the register was trying to help us. She's like, just putting the code in. And I kept putting the code in, and it wasn't working.
The code was wrong that they gave us.
So I went into the other restroom and put the code in and it worked. And I went in there and there's one stall in there and the door was open. I was like, great, cool. And then I walk into the stall. It's some dude taking a crap. And he looks at me and I look at him and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And he just laughed and I just left. And I was like, that was the most awkward experience. And it was gross, and I hope to never experience that again.
And I told her he probably left the door open on purpose. He's probably jerking it right now. Like, people are fucking creepy, dude. That's what a creeper is. It's a person who behaves creepy because they're weird. And it's like, you can be weird without being creepy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was just
like,
gross.
I'm weird, but I'm not a fucking creep about it. All right, we're going to get back to this email, I swear.
Okay.
So, this person goes to the stall furthest from the door. The email continues. So I'm in there. I just dropped my pants when I hear the bathroom door open. I'm like, okay, no biggie. But then I hear feet shuffling/dragging. Uh-oh. I thought it was one of my other siblings trying to scare me or just be weird. Then the shuffling got closer and closer.
Nope.
I say, haha, very funny. Then instead of a response, I get like a grunt, and then someone kept trying to push on the door.
And there's no one else in there.
I say, well, I mean, they heard the door open, so someone came in.
No, but like no one else in any of the other stalls. Why would you go to this stall?
Yeah, it sounds like it's just them. I say, what? All annoyed, so no one knows I'm scared because I'm still thinking it's my sibling. But I just get more grunts, and then the person keeps pushing on the door trying to get in. I'm freaked out now, so I call my husband. He answers, but I hang up because I'm like, guys can't come into the girls' bathroom. So I call my mom. If you're being accosted, that rule goes out the window, okay? Or if it's Top Gun and you're trying to pursue a beautiful woman that you try and have sex with in the bathroom after you sing them.
We just went to this new Indian restaurant and they were playing Top Gun on the TV and I was so excited. I was like, yes, it's Top Gun.
It was silent though, so you got to watch the mime-loving feeling.
Yes,
but
it was good. But then they freaking changed it. They changed the channel, and before we even got our food, I was like, this sucks.
All right, I'm gonna get back to this super tense moment in the story.
Sorry.
Thank you for talking to us about the food. I'm like, I'm in the bathroom. I need you to come ASAP. She comes in and the person stops. She's talking to the person like she's their friend. I'm sitting in the stall too scared to pee thinking, what the fuck? Why is she befriending my almost murderer? So I leave the stall and come out to find her talking to the kid who has Down syndrome.
Aww.
Honestly, it was one of the most terrifying things in my life. That is the end of the email. That's one of those things too where you just never know. Like, you could be terrified and it could be something benign like that where someone just doesn't really realize what they're doing, and it's like, it's so nice that your mom came in there and handled it that way.
But you're so defenseless when you're in the restroom. You're so defenseless. You're on the can doing whatever, and the movie Zombieland, that movie is what always freaks me out, because in the beginning of the movie he shows you no public
restrooms.
Yeah, no public restrooms, because he's sitting on the can and the zombie comes from under the door and freaks me out. And
so here's the thing, when it comes to being defenseless in the restroom, if someone were to try and come through the stall, I just start swinging, like dick out and everything. I wouldn't care. I'm not worried about someone trying to invade my stall because my hands are still free. They're going to catch these hands one way or the other. I'm terrified of a spider biting my ass. So
What?
terrified that I swear to God, before I poop, every time I have to sit down on a toilet, I flush it first. Because I'm like,
No,
if there's a spider in there, I'm going to flush this damn thing out. Now, if it's something where I've gone in there recently and I feel a little bit more comfortable, I'm okay with it. Because, like, if I go in there and pee, obviously, I don't need to worry about it because I'm not sitting down because I'm a dude and we don't have to worry about that. Unless, like, you have bad legs or you need to sit down or whatever. But, like, at work, I flush the shit out of that toilet because it's just like a button that you can hold. And I'm just like, I am not getting bit on the ass by a spider. I've been paranoid about this since the movie Arachnophobia came out. I will be paranoid about this until the day I die. So I understand bathroom fears, just not a lot of people share my specific phobia.
I used to work at a bookstore. I used to work at Borders before it closed down. I used to work at GameStop.
I was going to say, you think Borders is going to sue our podcast for using their name?
It doesn't exist anymore. But I used to work at both stores. They were across the little shopping center from each other. Like, you could see the other store from one store. And so I used to work at both. Doesn't matter. That's not important in the story. But I went to the mall restroom because there was only one. So that's where everybody went to the restroom in this mall. It was a small mall. And I had a gay friend named Eric, and I absolutely love him. He got me out of my shell and got me to, like, dress more girly and do a whole, like, he's the person that made me buy my first pair of heels. Like, I love him. But he scared the crap out of me one day because I went to the restroom, and he had no qualms about coming into the women's restroom, and it was after closing time, and I was in there by myself going to the restroom, and I hear noise outside the stall, and I was just like, oh my god. So
why didn't you assume it was just a female that came in the restroom and not your friend?
Because it's closing time. There's no one in the mall. There shouldn't be anyone there.
There's no female employees in the mall?
When we closed, there really was, like, no one in the mall. Sometimes when we closed, like, they were starting to turn the lights off in the mall. But he came in and he pounded his hand against the stall door really loud and freaked me out, and I jumped and my arms were spread on both sides of the wall, and I was just like so freaking scared.
And in that moment she pooped, but she was happy she was in the right spot.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fear. I'm afraid of being alone in restrooms. I will run out of them.
Wow.
If I'm by myself, I will run out of them.
This has been Adam and Robin's poopy phobia session, so we hope you folks enjoyed it. So, good stuff. All right. I enjoyed that.
All right. So this is the last email of the night, and it's from Sarah. The subject is Ghost Girl at Work? ?
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
Aloha, Robin and Adam.
Aloha.
It's just so fancy.
It is.
I just came back from Maui not too long ago, and I miss it already. I wrote you guys not too far back about my scary work experience that ended up being some funny noise outside. I told my coworker how I wrote in the story and how he should listen to the podcast. Now I'm writing in to tell you about my coworker's actual scary experience with a possible ghost girl. I used to work in the department with him, my brother, and another girl, so 4 of us total in that building. We were located in another small building that only held 5 cubicles. Oh, that's so tiny. Away from anyone else in the main building, thank God. Anywho, that small building had big glass windows that didn't open and only one door to enter/exit. This room has no windows and no doors. You must find a way out. Haunted mansion.
That's funny.
That's pretty good quote.
Don't take home those hitchhiking ghosts.
Yeah.
Just saying. The last time we were there, they made us go 3 to a cart, and it was really annoying.
It was really bad. Haunted Mansion. I was asking, I was like, did they get new buggies that are longer now? Because 2 is really stuffing people in there.
2 is right. Especially when you're leaving the ride and, like, the hitchhiker ghost, they have, like, a mirror where they, like, make it look like there's a ghost in your car. It's spooky, you know? But, like, when it's 3 to a cart, it's, like, just sitting on top of someone where it's like, this thing is invading my space.
Yeah. But they were shoving strangers into other people's buggies.
Yeah, there was, like, couples, like, no. Can't do that. It's 3 to a cart. Like, we're going to put a stranger with you. And some people are just like, no, I'm not riding with a stranger. It's like you're not breaking up a couple so that one person can sit with one couple and the other person can sit with another couple. It was really weird. I think they were trying to get through the line faster.
Yeah.
It was bizarre.
It was weird. Anyway, the only way to enter was if you have a key, and that only us 4 had, or you could knock. This was pretty sweet since we always knew who was coming in, and we can all act like we were working. JK, but not really.
Wow.
I was telling my coworkers today about how my boss, our old boss, he doesn't work there anymore, but he would walk in and I would walk into my cube and I would just be crying. And he'd be like, "Are you okay?" And it's because I was watching Korean drama or something. So it is really convenient to be able to be knowledgeable about who it is that's coming in and whether or not you can clean up before they come in.
You know, whether or not you can get your shit together from your Korean dramas.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we can all relate to that.
You'd be surprised. We have a lot of Korean drama fans.
I'm not saying we
sure.
don't. I'm just saying I don't relate to that. So
We each have our own workstation where the cubicle walls are at least 4 feet high. So when we sit, we can't see each other, but we can hear if someone's at their station. My brother and I would arrive at 6 a.m. and leave at 2:30. The other two would arrive at 7:30ish/8 and leave by 4:30ish/5. He told us that it wasn't unusual for him to stay a little later for overtime. He also said sometimes his wife, she worked in the main building, would come visit and just chat for a little. Side note, he also joked that they used my brother, oh my God, that they used my brother's desk to do stuff. Gross.
that's not a joke when someone says that. That they're just
That means
admitting
they
that
did
to
it.
you in a humorous way so they don't have to feel guilty about it.
We all got along that way, but we still told him he was just weird. Other side note, it's not unusual for the company to hire relatives. All right. Because I know they don't really hire relatives where I work.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so.
That was like a practice that I think they had at a lot of the places I've been before. And like my dad, like where he worked for BP, British Petroleum or whatever, Beyond Petroleum, whatever they branded themselves as now. And that was like one of their main recruiting things, like have your relatives work here because there's like a level of accountability by working with your family.
I think they used to hire family, but they don't anymore. So there are couples that work there, but anyway, that's not important. Anyway, next sentence. Anyway, he said one day when he was there by himself, his wife knocked and entered and sat in one of the other cubicles. Since you can't see each other from cubicles, he was talking to her out loud, just making casual conversation. He then asked his wife why she was whispering. He got up and walked to her and asked her again why she was whispering. She told him she was whispering because the other girl was in the last cubicle working and she didn't want to be rude with their loud conversation. Oh no. He then told her, "What girl?" and that everyone had left already. He then walks down to check the last cubicle and there's no one there. He said she was so freaked out to the point where she was shaking. She said she swore when she walked in as she passed that cubicle that there was a girl sitting there facing the computer. I'm just imagining a horror movie. Some girl with long hair, like sitting over the computer. All you can see is the back of her head and she's just sitting there doing her work.
I'm imagining
but her face is all messed up and it's just like...
I was totally imagining like a tracking shot where it's like she's walking to the cube she's going to sit in and it's like the camera's following her through the cubes and it's like empty cube, empty cube, empty cube. Then like it gets to the next cube and like it's passing by like what looks like a person. Then as it like continues walking with her, it's like you just see like this horrific face that you know is like a ghoul. And then she just like keeps walking and the thing like turns its head as the camera follows her. Yeah, you're welcome for that image. Hope you enjoyed that.
Okay.
It's a wonderful night you hit.
Oh man, I don't need nightlight tonight. So you could only see the back of her head. She naturally assumed it was the other employee that actually sits there. He then reassured her that when he initially let his wife in, there was no one left. By that time, everyone was gone for the day. His wife said she saw a girl sitting there with long black hair facing the computer. I called it. He told us this story the day after it happened. This story brought my brother and I chills. I couldn't help but feel a bit skeptical, though. I wanted to make sure he wasn't trying to pull a fast one on us. I went full detective mode on his ass and told him to retell the story and stopping to ask what time, who left, when she walked in, what did she see, where did she go to sit down, has he ever seen this before? I know no one else has the key to the building. I just had to call his wife at her extension to get her side. I just wanted to hear her account.
Wow.
Plus, she's way nicer than him, and I trust her more. I felt so bad that she got scared, though. I thank God that I've never seen anything like that at work. We get in pretty early, and it's still dark out that early in the morning. If I saw anything like that, I'm sure I would shart my pants.
Wow.
I guess she just saw a hardworking ghost girl. We also waited for the other coworker to come in so we could tell her the story since it was her cubicle. She said, "Shut up, not my cubicle." Then we all started laughing. I asked him to retell me the story recently so that I can write it in and so I can remember details. I just remember thinking about Samara from The Ring after she described what she saw. I guess she was giving us 7 days notice to stop working. Not today, Satan. We all work in different departments now, and none of us ever experienced something like this in that room at all. We still joke with him that his wife was probably on something or got a secondhand high.
Wow.
Since outside our building has the metro station and a bunch of homeless thugs, blah, blah, blah. That's the end. I've been listening since episode 1, and I love you guys. You guys crack me up, and you guys make me make the workday better when I have new episodes to listen to. Can you guys please do an episode where you gather stories from your family members and just read them? I also love when you guys have guests to tell their experiences as well. Keep on creeping on, Sarah. Love, Sarah G.
Thank you for sending that, Sarah G.
Yeah, that's a really good story.
What's funny about that is, I don't know, like when the office setting happens, I just imagine that someone was at work and they just didn't pay attention to them, like, slipping out. But I imagine that, like, the end of that story was like, and then we had sex on your desk. Because if someone brings that up to you as a joke, it's just so gross, man. But yeah, I don't know why some sort of poltergeist banshee person would be working in a cubicle and just randomly vanish without trying to creep anyone out. So it's super, super creepy, but also pretty freaking funny.
Yeah, I think that's, oh my gosh. But now it's just going to give me horror images of creepy ghost office worker.
The next time you're in your cubicle alone and there's no one else around you?
On Fridays, when the office is like a ghost town, I get scared really easily if someone comes into my cube.
I can't imagine you getting scared really easily, Robin.
Yeah, it's scary. Especially when it's dark outside during the winter. Whoop, whoop.
Go ahead.
That's the sound of the police.
I knew she was going to do that terrible, terrible joke.
Anyway, no, yeah, during winter when it's not practically night outside by the time you leave at 5,
right.
It's just so scary for me. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have a whole lot of days where I'm at the office so late that there's like no one else in their cubicle and several people work till like 9 p.m. But I totally get the feeling that it's super eerie, especially if you start feeling like someone else is there and then they just vanish. So solid stuff. We're all going to think about that, all of us that work near cubicles or in cubicles. So
thank you guys for sticking around for this episode of Storytime. We just want to remind everybody that we do have new merch up in our Teespring store. You can find links on our website, scaryish.com, on our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. There's links to it everywhere on our social media. So check that out. I really like the new designs that I made. They're printed front and back. The pillows, oh my gosh, the pillows I'm in love with.
The pillows, oh my god, the pillows.
Because they say Scary-ish on one side, and then the other side has our little Jason Voorhees, little ghosty. So I love him. I think he's absolutely adorable. I ordered a hoodie for myself. I'm so excited. And I hope you guys like him too. And we also have Patreon going on right now because I'm prepping up for fall. So all of our Badge of Honor patrons and above are going to be getting the new horror icon stickers that I designed. So I had 5 designs that I got done this fall, and I'm going to be mailing out random ones to everyone, as well as pinback buttons that I'm going to be making myself as well. So if you head on over to patreon.com/scaryish-podcast, you'll see all the updates and cool stuff there. Tiers start at $1, and all your support goes to helping this podcast keep on going. And then we also have coffee, ko-fi.com/scaryish-podcast, and those are one-time donations. All those donations help towards us getting a new computer. All your help helps.
Yep. It's the best way to put it. All your help helps. For those of you who joined us at youtube.com/scarish and twitch.tv/scarishpodcast, we appreciate you so much. And if you think about doing it, you should just try it out one Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern. And come hang out with us while we read these. It's a really fun time. And I just want to give a shout out to Glitchgrim, who just subscribed for the 5th month. It was a gifted sub from Miss DZ.
Oh my gosh.
Nice
Thank you so much.
It's just, it's a wonderful community. We appreciate you folks so much. If you have a story you would like to send us of something that's happened to you, please email storytime@scarish.com or go to our website, scarish.com, and click on Contact Us, or hit us up on any of our social medias. You can go over to @scarishpod for Twitter, @scarishpodcast for Instagram, and facebook.com/scarishpodcast for Facebook. And if you want to join any of our live communities, we have the Scarish Spooky Friends group, which has grown quite a bit. It's always really fun to go in there And it's our Facebook group. It's a derivative, basically. It comes off of our Facebook page. So you can check that out, or you can join our Discord server. The best ways to find those things, if you can't remember the address, is go to scarish.com, and there's little icons that'll link you to all of our social medias on the right-hand side. So
I'm so excited. We just got over 700 on Instagram. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, we appreciate you folks so much.
We really appreciate it. All our subscribers on Twitch and our subscribers on YouTube, you guys are great and amazing, and we're so thankful, and we really couldn't do this without you. So we really, really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So one last time from the bottom of our hearts, thank you, folks. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening. And Robin, go ahead and sign us out.
Keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye.